Okay, hi ACPA, Facebook, higher education, student affairs, friends, colleagues, members. It's so great to see you all. Thanks for joining us today for our Facebook Live with Leadership session. First of all, happy ACPA Day. My name is Chris Moody. I am the Executive Director of ACPA College Student Educators International, and I use he, him, his pronouns. For those joining us, we're requiring or requesting captioning. We're trying something a little bit different today, a little bit new. Would really appreciate your feedback on the experience. The Facebook platform now offers auto captioning, excuse me. So you should be able to turn on your captioning at the bottom of the video screen. And if you need assistance, please put a note in the chat and we will get to you. I want to begin our time together with an acknowledgement of the land that I am on and ask that you also identify a way to do so for the spaces that you occupy today. Maybe putting something in the chat, reflection or an honorific for your land acknowledgement. Related to the mission of supporting and fostering learning through the generation and sharing of knowledge, ACPA College Student Educators International would like to acknowledge the land each of us is on today is the original homelands of indigenous and tribal nations. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from these territories, and we honor and respect the many diverse indigenous peoples still connected to these lands. I'm presenting today from just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the original tribal homelands of the Catawba and the Tuscarora people and nations. So again, it's ACPA Day, a really exciting day for us each year, sort of like our birthday or our anniversary as an association. So each day on October 21st, we celebrate and honor the origin, the histories of our great association. Today, that means are reflecting on 97 years of excellence and leadership that came before us. I wrote in an email earlier today that not a day goes by that I don't imagine the courage, the imagination, and the tenacity of our founding women back in 1924, and those who have held leadership in our association since. It's both a privilege and a responsibility to amplify their voices, their contributions, and their bravery for leading us to who we are today and to the value we offer to higher education in the context of our increasingly complicated world. So it's a very special treat for me to share some of the space on Facebook with some of ACPA's current leaders who are contributing to that bold history of higher education. It's my absolute privilege to get to work with these great folks on a daily basis. And so I'm excited for you to get to know them a little bit better too, and for us to have a little fun together. We do have a few questions prepared that we want to talk through with you. Because it's Student Careers and Student Affairs Month. And so we've got to give honor to the special month that we're in. And if time permits, we will offer some space to respond to any questions that anyone in the Facebook world might have. So with that, let us get started. Thank you to Danielle, Vernon, Dre, and Jason for joining us today for this great Facebook Live panel. By way of introductions, tell us a little bit about yourself, the role that you play at ACPA or in life. And since it's Careers and Student Affairs Month, introduce yourself by telling us about a person, an experience, an event, or something that has been pivotal to your life and your successes. Is there a lesson or some kind of wisdom from that pivotal moment that can be shared that others might benefit from? So we'll begin with the current ACPA president, Dr. Danielle Morgan Acosta, then pass it to our past president, Vernon Wall, our current vice president, Andrea Domingue, and then our ACPA 22 in St. Louis convention chair, Jason Cottrell. So Dr. Morgan Acosta, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. It is wonderful to be celebrating ACPA today. I am Danielle Morgan Acosta, she, her pronouns. As Chris shared, I am the current ACPA president, and I serve as the Associate Dean of Students for Student Engagement and Belonging at Clark University. I'm coming to you today from the ancestral lands of the Nipmuc people in Worcester, Massachusetts, as a sister, wife, pet mom and parent and an educator. And in thinking about this question of like, what was that moment? There's been so many moments and so many inspirational folks and pieces along my journey as a professional and as a human. And I often talk about receiving the scholarship to attend ACPA convention 2007, but wanted to highlight the nudge that I received to be able to serve as the then standing committee chair for grad students and new professionals, because it had been something that I was talking about, maybe being interested in doing, and then of course kind of chickened out. Like most roles that I've served on in ACPA, I needed that email and that nudge and that like, oh, I think you can do this. And when I think about all of the things that I've done professionally in my work, paid for work, and in my volunteer service to the association, serving as the standing committee chair for grad students and new professionals, being among the other leaders of the now coalitions and network spaces, and really starting to have voice in the association at a young age, changed my trajectory, not only in ACPA, but in my professional career. I learned about universal design and cultural competence and the issues that were facing our members, which were then the issues facing our students and our campuses in different ways, and started to appreciate the way that I could have voice in spaces and conversations and strategic planning and kind of things like that, that hall directors don't always have on a college campus. And so really think that that was a critical moment in my opportunity. And one of the things that I love about ACPA, that we provide leadership opportunities for people to serve at all levels. And so that's mine for today. Off to Vernon.
Thanks, Danielle. Vernon Wall here, he, him pronouns. I'm coming to you from Washington, D.C., the ancestral homelands of many Native and Indigenous tribes, but primarily the Piscataway and the Acosta. So happy to be here with you. Let's see, I'm your immediate past president at ACPA and director of business development with Leadership, one of the founding faculty members of the Social Justice Training Institute and president of One Better World Consulting, LLC. Yeah, first of all, you're welcome. The reason why you are celebrating Careers in Student Affairs Month is because of me. Okay, not just me. So fun fact, the ACPA Commission for Professional Preparation, I was on the directorate way back. My first experience involved in ACPA was being a part of the Commission for Professional Preparation and then being on the directorate. Myself, Susan Comavas, Nancy Evans, and Paul Oliaro, who was president, came up with a proposal to do a Careers in Student Affairs Week. And it then moved to Careers in Student Affairs Month. And then, wow, other associations have started to take it on. So I just want to let you know, this all started at ACPA. So I just want to share that. And that's one of the things that I think is so pivotal that Chris mentioned earlier, just the tenacity that ACPA continues to have as we move through so many different journeys within our association, whether it be as we look at historically marginalized identities, as we embrace supporting our members through multiple pandemics, as we think about how we will provide support for students in our future. What does that look like? That's been the thing for me that has been the thread, is just the audacity of hope that we have at ACPA to think about that we would develop a strategic imperative for racial justice and decolonization that allows us to frame the things that we do. So that's where I am in terms of the things that I'm thinking about. So, Dre.
Thanks, Vernon. I love when you do that, taking ownership of that, the day. Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Dre Domingue. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am coming to you from Catawba in Sugary Land, which is now known Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm currently Dean of Students for Diversity and Inclusion at Davidson College, and I'm currently your vice president. I had a lot of feelings when this question came up, and then it got me really excited. So I'm going to cheat. Sorry. There are two things that are big and they're related. One, I want to show some love to Res Life, especially hall directors and career development. I was a law senior who had plans to be a K-12 math teacher, and long story short, homophobia is real. And I was told I couldn't do that. And a wonderful hall director who transitioned into career development said, have you heard of this thing called student affairs? And I had not. And she got me looking and thinking about what was possible. I didn't even know this existed. When I did apply to a master's program, shout out to NYU, my alma mater, I only really understood career development and residence life. I didn't know about other functional areas. And seeing a page of what was possible, but in particular, NYU had an LGBT, or still does have an LGBT office. And I had no idea it was possible that I could be, as we used to call it affectionately, gay for pay or queer for pay, to be able to do that work on campus as a primary focus was amazing. And so I really shout out all those different folks because it really set my pathway as a diversity, equity, and inclusion educator to see what was possible as a 22-year-old. And what was really nice about that is it planted a seed for me to always question possibility and structures, and to, if I can imagine the job that I wanted, I can make it happen somehow, or, kind of configure it how I wanted to overall. So that's kind of my story overall. I'm gonna pass it to Jason.
Awkward unmute. So my name is Jason Cottrell, and I am the ACPA 22 convention chair, and I am coming to you from Rockville, Maryland, home of the Piscataway and Manitowoc peoples, and my pronouns are he, him, his. And professionally, I am kind of in a career adjacent area, student affairs adjacent area. I work as the lead research analyst for institutional service at the U.S. Department of Education. And so I work with all of our Titles 3, 5, and 7 grant programs. And so for folks who aren't really in the policy law realm, those are our minority serving institutions, HBCUs, tribally controlled colleges and universities. And I work with their eligibility and grant performance. So, and I am I still consider myself a student affairs professional. There are days, yesterday I was having a day with thinking about our Hispanic serving institutions and folks in terms of why they want to become an HSI, and making sure that they understand the importance of serving the Hispanic students on their campus rather than just enrolling them. And so that has been a big conversation that I continue to have with institutions. And I wound up here in the student affairs realm because of my work study experience years ago as a transfer student and getting hired working at first year student services at Virginia Commonwealth University. And my mentor, Rob Aaron, who is currently at Northwestern, and he is in kind of the assessment realm. And so Rob has guided me in this profession in many ways, and hired me as an orientation leader, as well as my husband. We met as orientation leaders. And so we had been OLs on our campus, and I, started asking questions, about, wanting to do what Rob did. And he was the director of new student programs or first year student services at the time, and he wound up going to Indiana University and in Bloomington and working on his PhD. And so, we have stayed connected all of these years. And actually, an interesting story about that is having gone out to Indiana to visit my family who moved to Indianapolis not long after he did. Wound up going to Indiana University to visit him, and over a plate of mac and cheese at a great little pub in Bloomington, he convinced me to think about applying to my doctoral program, which ultimately I did and finished that. And so I've kind of stayed in the profession, which has led me to the Department of Education. I've kind of fell in love with the data and being in the research realm and looking at institutions specifically and what they're doing to improve student success, and applied to the U.S. Department of Education, and currently they are, like I said, researching institutional effectiveness and institutional changes for student success. And so I've been there for 6 years, and somehow decided about a year and a half ago to wanting to give back to the association, and having been a member of ACPA since about 2009, decided to throw my hat in the ring, and somehow these lovely folks on the screen selected me to become the ACPA 22 convention chair, and currently been planning the ACPA 22 convention in St. Louis, the 6th through 9th of March, 2022. Hope to you all will be able to join us there. I'm very excited about that. And, like I said, it's really about me giving back to the association and giving back to ACPA. They have given me so much over the past, 15 years. It's been, an amazing experience as I've worked with coalitions and commissions, and was the president of the North Carolina chapter of ACPA and the assembly coordinator for states. And that has been it's been very rewarding for me. And so this past year and a half has been for me to give back to you all, the membership and the student affairs professionals who are doing such amazing work on our college campuses around the United States and around the world. So like I said, I hope you will be able to join us in St. Louis.
Well, as the tagline says, it's right where we're supposed to be. So if it's where we're supposed to be, we need to be there, right? I mean, that's where the place to be. Thank you all for sharing. And as you all reflected in some of the, North Carolina roots that Jason was just talking about, and Dre's also in North Carolina, across the state from me, waving from across Interstate 95. It has me thinking about my own undergraduate and graduate mentors and careers in student affairs, and how this day with ACPA Day and our founders being women coming together in a space where there wasn't space for women identified professionals, female identified professionals to come together, and how important women leaders have been in my own development and my showing up today. And so thinking about my time at Wake Forest University, learning from Connie Carson, Gabe Perez, Colette Taylor, to my graduate work at Appalachian State University, who just had a big football victory last night, Tirza Watts and Jackie Carr McCarg and Kathy Clark, and just thinking about the importance of women in the history of my own experience, but also the profession. So I wanted to create a little space to lift their names today. So thank you all again for sharing your own experiences. So, I think a lot of folks that are watching are interested or loyal to ACPA and would love to hear what's happening, what's going on, and what you are excited about. So if you all wouldn't mind sharing just one or two things kind of front of mind that you're excited about, that are happening in ACPA or will in the near future, and maybe why, from your perspective, this is a great time to be engaged with the association. So we'll go in reverse order from last question, so that, Jason, if you don't mind, that puts you up. I'm guessing I'll know what you might say, but the mystery will be revealed very soon. So take it away.
Sure. So obviously ACPA 22, and I'm very excited about the plans that we have. We have some amazing speakers that'll be announced soon, and I think everybody's going to be very, very excited about some great plenaries, and we are building the curriculum right now. So the ACPA 22 convention steering team is they are rocking it right now. I really do want to give a shout out to them, especially our programs team, who has been reviewing programs and getting people to review programs and making sure programs are reviewed. That has been a huge undertaking. So we are very, very excited about St. Louis. We are heading out that way next week to take a look at the convention space and the hotels, as well as places to eat and fun things to do. So we are really excited about folks joining us at ACPA 22. But I also, and I know I'm going to trip Chris up here. The biggest thing I do want to say, if you get a chance to do some of the institutes with ACPA, please do them. I did the Institute for Aspiring SSAOs in 2013, I think it was the inaugural year. And that was such a rewarding experience for me. It really, Dwayne Todd and John Hernandez, Zeb Davenport, the whole team that put that together just did such an amazing job. And it was really, really rewarding. I can't speak to that enough. And so if you get a chance to hit up one of the institutes that ACPA does, especially for that one, if you're considering a role as an aspiring SSAO, please consider that. You really do make some amazing connections and reflect on your own experiences and your own path and journey. And so I think getting to the SSAO role is really about the journey to get there, and making sure that you understand the importance of your experiences as in a new professional, as a mid-level professional, and how do you take those to the SSAO role, and how do you ensure that you are supporting students as well as supporting those who work with you. So like I said, if you get a chance, hit up one of those institutes, especially that one. It was amazing.
That's awesome, Jason. One thing to know about me, if you know me personally, I love a birthday. So mine is related to ACPA's birthday. And I also love to celebrate my birthday all month long. So in that same pattern, I'm excited that ACPA is going to be celebrating our 100th birthday, basically for the next couple of years. So I love a long celebration. What I love most about thinking about our 100 years is how often in our field do we get a chance to dream and imagine what's possible, and not only do that, but also have a role in shaping that future. For me, when I came into the field 20 some odd years ago, a long time ago, I felt like there was a way in which student affairs was just handed to me, and the message I got was, this is how it is. This is how we do it. That's it. And what I love so much about now is that so much of what we do, especially with the ACPA, is that we rely on our members and their dreams and their energy and their leadership to shape where we go, right? So many of the things that Jason talked about, from convention to institutes, those were members who had those ideas in partnership with governing board and our international staff team that made that happen. And so I think my offering is, like, please get involved in our 100-year celebration, whether it's through storytelling about unknown history of ACPA, to how we can imagine different collaborations, to how we think about what is the new way we could do student affairs. That is an opportunity to do that. So if you're curious about that, feel free to email any of us. We're happy to connect you. I also am super excited, I hope I can say this, Danielle, super excited that our leadership structure, even about how we're doing the celebration, is different. Typically we had, somewhat of a colonized model of a hierarchy of one chair and everybody reports down. And what I love so much about our 100-year celebration is that we are operating as a collective. We have 6 collective leaders from different types of representation of social identities, to leadership backgrounds of ACPA, to the work that we do in the field. And as a collective, we're calling ourselves a kind of a core team. We're imagining with all of our people together and also I'm hoping that becomes a new way that we do leadership at ACPA as well. So again, I'm super excited about that. If you want to know more, by all means, let us know. And please get involved. We need your voice to kind of make that happen as well. Passing it to Vernon.
Well, and I'm just really glad that that Chris started and Jason jumped in with naming individuals who have been a part of the association that have impacted us. And I just want to bring Nancy Evans' name into the mix, who was my faculty member when I was at Indiana University, and Brenda Richardson, who was my supervisor at the University of Georgia, African-American woman who passed away a few years ago, who were pivotal in shaping who I am as a professional. And I thank them today and always for all of that. For me, as past president, one of my roles is to chair the Nominations and Elections Committee. So I will say that one of the things I'm very excited about is we will be rolling out in November our newest slate of volunteers that want to be a part of the leadership. And it's a solid, wonderful slate. And when you see the people, you're going to be like, well, Lord, good gracious, how do I make a decision? But you have to make a decision. And folks will be joining us on the governing board. So excited about that. And we want you all to think of ways in which you can be involved in leadership in whatever way you can, with our entities, with our convention planning teams. Dre's going to be looking for some folks pretty soon, so get ready. And that's New Orleans, folks. So all I know is the bad thing about New Orleans for me, though, is I will not be past president, which means I won't have a suite. But I'm going to change that. I'm using my Hilton miles, and I'm going to have a suite. I'm banking all of my Hilton points so I can have a suite. But anyway, So I do believe that the involvement is so important. I do want to talk then a little bit about professional development, because the reason why I believe now is the time to be a member of ACPA is because now is the time you need professional development as a student affairs professional to be successful. All there is to it. You've got to take time for it. You must. I know that there's so much emotional labor that's happening now on college campuses with everything that's happened with our multiple pandemics. Totally understand. And you can't let your professional development wane. And whatever that may be, we've got ACPA to Go, which many of them are free for ACPA members. We've got our institutes, as Jason mentioned. We've got our convention coming up, which I'm definitely going to be in St. Louis because I want to be with people. And I'm going to be the one that will have the you can hug me, because I'm going to be hugging a lot of people. So I think it's important for you to always remember to not forget your professional development and what that looks like.
I'm excited about all of these things that they have already shared. Oh my goodness. But what I'm tied to that, and what I'm most excited about, is where the association is going and where we've been, right? And thinking about our next iteration and the next phase of the strategic plan. Dre mentioned we're a volunteer association, which means we are the folks that are doing this work. We know the work that needs to be done. We know where the problems are and the issues are, and our next phase of the strategic plan, we are directly addressing those, because Dean Kennedy and Leilani Kupo helped us develop a strategic plan and that allows us to move and shift with the growing times. And so to Vernon's point, I think back to the past 2 years, I would not, as a student affairs practitioner who moved institutions and changed jobs and did all sorts of things during this time, been able to make it if it wasn't for my colleagues in ACPA and the work and the energy and the passion and the opportunities to pause for a second and say, what is it that the world needs? What is it that higher education needs? And how can we as an association make some of those things happen? And so I'm so excited for you all to kind of experience St. Louis and part of the pieces that we're unrolling out there. And we'll be kind of sharing of some of the work that we've been doing over the past 7 months and really the past couple of years, but really to be a part of an association that doesn't waver in who we are, in what we know needs to happen, and creates plans and strategies and opportunities to get us there.
Gosh, you all have, I know most of what you all shared, and you just made me excited all over again about each thing we have going on. So thank you all for just your sharing your enthusiasm with me and others listening and watching. We've done a couple things so far, right? So we've reflected for Careers and Student Affairs Month. We've just heard some things you're excited about for ACPA. I want people to get to know you a little bit better as people and as our leaders. And so just a fun question that we want to toss out there. And so let's say instead of an executive director, I'm a casting director now, and I'm doing a movie of each of your lives. Who would you want me to cast as to play you, other than you, in the story of your life? Who would play that your role, and why that person? And then maybe also tell us what the theme song of the movie would be and why. So whatever you're comfortable putting on the internet, putting on Facebook, sharing with the rest of the world for, to be recorded for all time. Tell us your thoughts on that. So Dre, can we begin with you, and then Danielle to follow, and then Jason and Vernon to wrap it up. I cannot wait to hear your answers. So take it away, Dre.
I love these random questions. They're amazing. It's awesome. Maybe I can't tell if it's because I'm reading her book right now or because I'm obsessed with her child, but I love Gabrielle Union. She's amazing. She's fierce, she's outspoken, but I love that she is funny. She doesn't take life too seriously. She's an amazing mom. She's just dope, just really dope. And so I really love her. And of course, her daughter, Kavya, who they call Shady Baby. I'm convinced that would be my child if I ever had a kid. I throw side eye, so what have you. So it's more about who she's the person, not any body of work that she's done. If I had to pick a song, I mean, I'm a Texan, so you know I'm all Southern. I got to go with my girl Beyonce. Formation. I love that song. I will never forget the feeling it evokes when you hear that intro line. How often do you hear a song that calls out Texas and Southern Louisiana history, and especially as somebody who's going to be kind of honoring NOLA for convention soon. I can't think of a better song that would open my life story. So Danielle, I want to hear from you. What's yours?
Thanks, Dre. I love that. I'm not a good movie person, but I think it would be Mila Kunis or Anna Kendrick. Both that play like serious but kind of silly roles. There's some physical resemblance. So nothing in particular. Well, the cup game thing in the current years just feels like it kind of aligns with some things, right? And both of those folks, I feel like people have watched kind of grow up in their profession and are kind of hardworking. So I think that aligns with some of my pieces. A song mantra of mine sometimes is Casey Musgrave's Good Old Boys Club. And not wanting to be a part of that and kind of breaking the mold and not kind of living into some systems that already exist that we think are unfair. And so that's a good one that I blast with the windows open often. I think, Vernon, you're next.
Sure. This is gonna be, okay, so I gotta go with Danielle in terms of like two people. So my friends would say RuPaul, because before I had the beard and I had my big black glasses, okay, I can see some resemblance. So maybe a little bit of RuPaul at the beginning, but Denzel, as we move to the later years, is very important to me because Danielle is, Denzel is like the epitome of black excellence in my mind. So that's who. Song, I'm really into K-pop these days, and so I would say Permission to Dance, because it's perfect. It's like we don't need permission to dance, and that's pretty much it for me. It's like, we need to be about living life, and so yeah, that's what I would say. So Jason, round us out.
Can I say Scarlett Johansson? No. If anybody knows.
I almost said Beyonce because I'm with Dre. I was just going to say Beyonce, but
Look, Scarlett Johansson apparently can play any role. My husband would say either Josh Hartnett or Rick Astley, apparently, which I could kind of see. For me, I would say, and I know he's completely problematic, and people are going to probably slam me for this, Chris Pratt. But listen, I'm a huge Star-Lord fan, and a huge Marvel fan in general. And if anybody has ever seen my Funko Pop room, there's like 900 down there. But Star-Lord is kind of my go-to in terms of comics. My license plate says it. I've got a tattoo that says it. So Chris Pratt, I think he has been a very good Star-Lord, and I know he's not everybody's favorite Chris, but I would probably go with Chris Pratt. The song, so I would say either Backwoods Barbie by Dolly, or probably Carry On Wayward Son, one of those two. So a lot of undertones there for both. The country boy in me, the gay country boy in me, with Backwoods Barbie for a lot of reasons. And then Carry On Wayward Son, relationships, father-son relationships there. So, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I think to me, Chris Pratt and probably Backwoods Barbie or Carry On Wayward Son.
I feel like I know you all really well, and I just learned a whole lot at the same time. I don't want to ask a question I'm not willing to answer. So I'm James Corden. I want to play me in the movie of my life. What his love of music resonates with me so much, and just how much fun he has with music and Broadway shows and all that. So, and the theme song would be probably one many of you haven't heard of, so look it up. It would be The Wood Song by the Indigo Girls. Really kind of powerful message in it. That would be my song. And I think we're going to have make this movie happen, because that's a bomb cast to have come together. So thank you all for playing along. Bethany shared with me we don't have any questions in the chat, and so we'll just wrap it up and say thank you all for the time and attention on this ACPA day, our 97th birthday, anniversary, year extravaganza. And just want to remind everybody that we do have some really outstanding membership and convention promotions going on today. In honor of our 97th anniversary, membership for anyone, new members, renewing members, is only $97, but it's today only. So it's the best day to become a member, to stay a member, to add another year to your membership. I don't care if your membership is set to expire in 2025, do it today to expire in 2026, or pay it twice and do 2027. You know, this is a great and the best day to invest in yourself. You can also register for the ACPA 22 convention today and get 10% off the registration cost. I mean, we're almost giving it away. So hope that you will sign up to be a member, to renew, and then join us in St. Louis, which again, where our tagline says, it's right where we're supposed to be next March 6th through 9th, 2022. Until next time, thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful ACPA day.